Hey everybody, it's Jeremy. Why did I say hey everybody, it's Jeremy? I'm so
Hey
used,
everybody.
guys, like, hey everybody, welcome back to Dungeon of the Mad Mage. It's been a long week. Okay. We've got potentially a lot of stuff to do tonight, and I'm very excited about it, because it feels like we're maybe close to that climactic point at the end of a level. So, let's just jump into a bit of a recap and get started, shall we? Previously, in the Dungeon of the Mad Mage, the party faced the confusion and fear that comprised the aftermath of their ritual in the Vrail Olo Temple. They had successfully created a vessel in which to capture Excrutha's soul, but the method had not been according to their plan, or at least not in full. Izu, the warlock of the new generation, had intervened, ensuring a shard of the spawning stone made it into the jar, pulling shrieking masses of Yuan-Ti ghosts in along with it. Ashes confronted Izu, angry, not necessarily over what had been done, but over Izu not trusting the party enough to be open about it. To complicate matters more, there was now no way to hide things from Cass and Ask. For their part, the two very different bullywugs ended up arriving at the same conclusion. They weren't happy about being left out. They weren't happy about the situation. But what was done was done. And they would focus on what was to come. The showdown with the Sethian Scourges. But before the Scourges could be engaged, another obstacle had to be removed from their path. Hexacali, the Queen of Bones. The party had heard about this monstrous threat since before they even arrived in the Slither Swamp. The time had finally come to end the Queen's reign. So, after taking a short rest to bind some of their wounds, the party headed south, back past the Isle of Memories, to face off against the Queen of Bones. Or, at least that was their intention. But actually baiting the Queen to battle proved a bit more difficult than they had intended. Matashtai summoned up his rowboat and attempted to attract the Bone Naga, but to seemingly no avail. Feeling as if he had no other recourse, the monk swam further into her territory, intent on finding her and leading her back to the awaiting party. But during his exploration, he heard the snapping and breaking of wood, and realized that the monster had circled around behind him. The battle had begun without him. As Hexacali rammed herself into the party's boat, Ashes leapt aboard it, trying to tie up the creature, but with little effect. Between her being in the water and her incredibly difficult-to-harm form, his attacks seemed ineffectual. But the party had prepared for this. They had a magic dagger, specifically enchanted to decrease the Queen's defenses, and Bones had lain in wait for this exact moment. The rogue swam forward, seeking the element of surprise, but Hexacali saw all around her, and she turned to face the oncoming threat. But it didn't matter. Bones struck true, his blade scraping across the Queen's ribcage, the enchantment of the dagger swarming over her.
Like a shark.
And the battle began in earnest. Matashtai arrived, Ezrah instilled Ashes with magical vestments, and with the Queen's defenses lowered, the party began to dismantle the Bone Naga. For her part, Hexacali fought viciously, wounding Ashes and Matashtai, grievously injuring Bones, but it wasn't enough. The party had prepared for this. They were capable warriors versus a mindless beast, and powerful though that beast was, the party had prepared a proper counter to her main strength. And so, the Queen was summarily dethroned. In the aftermath, the party dragged the skeleton up onto the edge of the Isle of Memories just as the magic of the place began to fade, seemingly unbound by the death of the creature it had shown the death of. Bones took the skull of the Queen, and the party returned to the Black Tongue tribe triumphant, growing their legend even further. Only one more challenge awaited them here. The Sethian Scourges in the Immortal Vale. They had what they needed to make one of the two Nagas mortal. But what would they do for the second? As they pondered this question, they realized that one face was missing amongst the black tongues that had gathered to congratulate them. Izu, the warlock, was nowhere to be found. And that is where we fade into the scene. So, you all are in the Black Tongue tribe's territory at the spawning pool, right? Many members of the tribe have come and gone, congratulating you on your victory. The majority of the new generation is here. Culp is in the wings, having just come back from having discourse with Zetlal. And the other three, Risk, Ask, and Cass, are both present and seemingly have been making arrangements in your absence, right? Gearing the Black Tongue tribe up for war. So, what is it that you all are going to do in this moment? What's the plan?
We're gonna gear up for war.
Gear up for war. Also, where's Izu?
You ask around, and she hasn't been seen since you left.
What's the last time you saw her?
The last time she was seen was when she was storming out of the temple after conversing with you.
Very interesting. Where's Risk? Risk knows.
He's nearby. He gives you the same answer though, because he was still there when she left, right? He was still discussing things with you when she walked away.
Very interesting.
I feel like we should probably find out what she's up to.
I mean, what's she gonna do? She can't get into that room.
All right. I think
you don't think that's going to drive her to
speaking in
desperation and
absolute.
doing something even dumber?
Oh, maybe.
Speaking in absolutes is absolutely gonna make sure that what we say won't happen happens.
Oh, keep making assumptions on the capabilities of other NPCs. Absolutely.
Well,
So I kind of pull the guys aside and say, so I had a thought. If the Pandemonium Stone thing like kind of sucks up the souls of the bullywugs and spits them back out,
Mm-hmm.
would a shard of that maybe capture the last scourge? Maybe we stabbed it with it as it was dying? Could we suck up its soul?
yeah, in that
Yeah,
literally
but
what
would
they
it
did.
just
Put in,
be like the way the stone works? It then puts that soul back into something alive, right? Like that's
Sure, but if it puts the soul back in this like a shitty snake, that's not so bad, right?
Just go
Getting,
catch like a water like snake and just have it nearby and be like, ah, get in there.
Oh my god, it's getting like Captain Ginyu turned into a frog vibes.
Isn't that kind of like why we were against using the Pandemonium Stone for the jars, though?
Well, we didn't get much of a say in that one now, did we?
Yeah, okay, but here's my point, right? We don't know what's in the shard that we're gonna take.
Well, we're not. Shit. I'm not sure I follow.
Hypothetically. If the stone sucks up their souls and then like spits them out, whenever available, whenever they can spit them out, right? How do we know that taking whatever shard doesn't already have a little toad soul in it?
Well, then it won't capture up the Scourge soul and the Toad's soul's still in there. And then we put
Okay.
it back and spawn another Toad.
I don't think that's how that works. Then we just put it back.
Random like suggestions, throwing shit out there, see what sticks to the wall.
Yeah.
Ezra, do you have that identify spell, right? What if we just identified the stone to see if we could learn maybe more mechanically how it works?
I mean, if it is actually magic and not just something beyond.
I highly
Yeah,
doubt it's
magic.
mechanical.
This thing is sacred to them. I would only do so if they.
Yeah, I don't know. Like I said, just whatever sticks. Just throwing out there.
They probably don't want me, putting my hands all up on their holy relic.
You guys are like just below hero worship tier at this point. Like, if you remember the way I described how your triumphant return, remember you were uninjured when you returned from fighting the Queen of Bones, thanks to the fetishes of the Vrealolos regenerative properties, right? Like,
We are gods.
they're not, yeah, you guys aren't quite like god tier necessarily, right? Like, and you're not like
Gods.
not like you're usurping the new generation or anything like that, but the Black Tongues in general seem to be almost like borderline hero worshipping you at this point, like almost kind of fawning over you.
I am fawnable.
Oh yeah.
I mean, you can try it if you want to break off a piece of their holy relic.
That was
Wasn't
not
talking about
the
doing it without
intent.
talking to him.
Yeah, one for clarity, I think Zach's talking to Matashtai about the shard concept, not Ezra identifying the thing concept.
Yeah, you do you, brother. Is it like super necessary though? Like, we kill them both and we entrap one and we take the rod. What's the other one gonna do? Slither around?
Said that last week. You guys all fought me on it.
I didn't fight you on that. I thought it was a great idea.
I'm done fighting.
So I think I might have been the one to fight you guys on that, and not in a DM versus players kind of scenario, in that you guys are free to do that if that's what you choose. But I think at this point you know, if that is what you do, the new generation is just going to come behind and figure out a way to do this, right? Like, if the remaining Sethian Scourge, when they which it would be Sarakath, right? Because you already have the soul jar for Excrutha. So if you were to slay Sarakath and she were to reform, right? If she stuck around, then the Black Tongues would finish the job.
How?
They'd figure out a way. That's the thing, right? Like, I mean, they have mages, and they've now watched you perform the basis of the ritual, right? So they can muddy their way through the mixture if need be, right?
I don't hate the idea of that.
I mean,
it's their decision.
If that's what you guys want to do, then by all means do that, right? Just know that you putting the choice off is making the choice for someone else. Like,
We'll kill them all.
Risk has told you ultimately what happens if you guys can't figure this out, and he's like not holding you to a specific standard or anything. He's just like, the tribe will do what is necessary for the tribe. They can't have an immortal enemy just constantly on their periphery, right?
What if instead of killing her, we knock her out and they just keep her drugged forever?
Well, I mean, we do know that defeating her, there
Yeah,
is
we don't-
like a
Couple of day window
yeah,
where
she's out of commission for
Yep.
a bit.
Sure.
Ah, that's what I'm saying. We don't kill her. Then she never comes back.
All right, I got the solution, right? We troll king harder. Somebody in the Black Tongue tribe is dedicated to always be like cutting chunks out so that while she never can actually regenerate.
I think Ezra rolled earlier on in this scenario for like a history check or something like that to the concept of spirit nagas, right? That's not they reform a brand new body. Like,
No, they're saying keeping her alive and
what Bones
just
is
keep her
saying,
at,
keeping
like,
her
1 hit
alive,
point.
is art.
Yeah, let's like
Jay, are
chain
you
her to a
saying
wall or
like
some shit.
Oh yeah.
it's like knifer and then healer and then knifer and then healer?
Oh no,
like,
no.
what?
I misunderstood the.
Yeah, no, they
Oh,
don't
okay.
regenerate back up to a full body. They fully reform a brand new body.
I
It's
totally
real
took
dark shit.
Jay's as we're gonna kennel her, and then as she over a long rest regains her hit points, take her back down to 1.
No, obviously she never gets to rest ever again. We chain her to a wall, and then you just keep her drugged forever.
Definitely humane.
Where would we
and-
get the drugs? I guess
They
they, could
have-
just. The,
They
the-
have-
got
they have
toes.
Well,
par-
dude, there's drugs here.
They have
Or
paralytic
criminal
agents.
toad.
They've literally told you about their carrion crawlers that they coat
There you go.
paralysis on their weapons with.
Here's my question though: do you think she would $1 Million Baby herself?
Yes.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yeah, probably.
and since she reforms a new body, I'm assuming that new body has like a location it's going to reform.
Yeah, some sort of phylactery or
What
something.
if-
Yeah,
okay,
yeah.
what if we do like in Cube? Okay, so in Cube, there was a guy who worked in the Cube facility, who ended up trapped with the people who were,
Yeah,
crap.
yeah, I remember.
and since he like kind of knew how to navigate the cube, he helped get him out. Okay, but in Cube 2,
Yeah, the
okay,
hypercube.
oh, so say technically this in Cube, right? But in the pre-Cube, right, the first one is where he was actually like smart, and they lobotomized him. So anyway, long story short, let's lobotomize her. There, she's still alive, right? She doesn't reform, but
Well, I mean, I believe that's going to be a
We're
very-
heroes.
Very.
I've been
Oh,
just
hero.
watching your face,
It's going
Mitch,
to be
this
very
entire
hard.
time.
I'm not a
Have you ever
hero.
lobotomized anybody before? Like, because I feel like if you fuck that up, they're just going to die.
It
And then
can't be
she'll
that
reform.
hard. You stick a little hook up there, and you.
Yeah, but
Can't be
if
that
you
hard to keep
hook
someone
the-
alive with a hook in their brain.
If you hook the wrong part, right, then you're just
The
going.
Egyptians did it. It cannot be that hard.
What
How many times do you think they
Egyptians?
practiced before they
The-
got it right?
1 to 2. I don't know.
Also, they did some pretty amazing shit. So maybe don't discount. Oh, it can't be that hard because the Egyptians did it. Like, what the fuck? They also built the pyramids, asshole. Go build some pyramids. See how hard
Or a
that is.
sphinx.
Can't be that hard.
Hey, give me 10,000 slaves.
Okay.
Oh, do not take that out of context.
I'm just saying.
I mean,
You
even
want
in that
some feats of strength, provide the labor.
even in that context, there's a lot more going on there than just feats of strength. It's called geometry.
Anyway, I think lobotomy is like one of the more humane options we have.
Induced vegetable state.
Or more likely than not, Easy is just over there sacrificing herself right now anyway. So,
True.
But they can't get in. Right?
I mean, I believe that firmly, but Jeremy told us we're not allowed to underestimate people.
I didn't tell you
that was me,
that
that
you
was me.
weren't
I was
allowed
gonna say
anything.
Not speaking absolutes. You Sith.
Oh fuck! All right, so there is
Technically,
there
at least
is
the Sith believe in shades of gray. That's all I'm saying.
the party pull themselves aside and are quietly conversing about like what their options are. After a few minutes of that passes, right, you're left alone. You're left to your own devices. No one bothers you. Although there are a couple of like hanger-ons or onlookers that are not listening into your conversation, but like watching you, just like watching you in case you need something or watching you in case you want something, right? But after a few minutes of this, Ask and Cass begin to walk over. Risk heads over to talk to Culp about something, and the duo kind of partially strongman their way over towards you. Not really strongman, but they don't defer to you, right? But there is a bit of expectation in their tone, and pretty much straight up, Ask just says, "All right, when and what do we need to do?"
Fight Drow mostly. I have a phone call.
Okay.
Drow
kinda-
and other bullywugs.
Kind of nods and he says, "All right."
I
And
don't know that
there's
we
an
got a solution for the
opportunity
second scourge
maybe
yet.
during the fight to have some of them join our forces, because wait, did we tell them that there are others?
They know. They've had escapees, right? Like, if you guys remember when you were coming back the first time you escaped, or the time you escaped from the Immortal Vale, you actually met a patrol that had rescued an escapee from the Immortal Vale. So they're aware that there are some people that are not fully under the control of the Scourges there. They expect that when the attack happens, right, like, if it seems like they expect some people to turn to their side, right? So that's a known quantity.
Okay. Right. That's good.
They do both kind of look at you, Matashtai, when you say that. And Cass says, "More plan? Something else to do?"
Well, I kind of wanted to check in with Izu and see if anything came to mind for her.
Not here. But she shouldn't be at Temple. We set watch.
Alright. Well, let's maybe spread out, see if we can find her real quick. And then meet back in 15 to 30 minutes.
As you're saying that, right? Risk and Culp walk up. And Culp looks a little like worn out, like he's just had like a rough conversation. But before he can say anything or really get involved in the conversation, Risk kind of like pipes up on the tail end of what you have just said, and he says that he asked around after you asked where she was, right? And she hasn't been seen. That typically means if she can be found, she might be at the quiet place.
Quiet place.
Probably
Where's the
where she
quiet?
can speak with her deity.
Where's the quiet place?
So Risk describes to you in a dry cave to the west of the temple, kind of southeast of the entrance to the Slither Swamp. Right, there is a cave there where it feels disconnected from the Slither Swamp. Like the bugs don't go there, the smell of decay doesn't go there. It's just a quiet, calm place.
Okay. Well, maybe go see if we can find her there.
Okay. Is that what the party as a whole is gonna do? Everyone like
Yeah.
head
Yeah,
out?
that sounds like a plan. Let's go to the
Group up,
quiet
go?
place. Also, there's a part of me that's like maybe we shouldn't need to like make haste to go fight the scourges, because the longer we wait, the more that Karstus is going to be able to bolster his forces, which is going to probably help greatly when we make the big push.
I will say that's definitely something to consider. When you last spoke to Karstus, he had finished repairing his whites, right?
Mhm.
So he had the two
white,
whites, and he had the flesh golem, right? The only other things that he had were just zombies. So assuming he can get a couple of those going, he doesn't have much more than that. The other things that you fought, he raised on the spot in the battle with you, right? So there might not be much more for him to do aside from raise more zombies.
Okay. All right, quiet place.
Do you guys know where the quiet place is, or are you just like are you getting a guide
told us
there?
It is ingrained in our memory now. We know where it is.
Yeah, I'm asking you as players.
I know where it is.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just kind of assumed we had directions so we could make it there.
It's right here.
All right, we grab a random ass toad.
It's
to
right
guide us
where?
there.
You talking about the place where we can rest?
No,
Oh, we're talking about a different place. Oh, my
there's
bad.
a
Then.
place where Izu is communing with her god. We believe.
Were you clicking, Zach?
Yeah, I clicked right here. This is where I was. That's what I thought you
So
were talking about.
Bones, as Risk describes the quiet place to you, that's the quiet place.
Oh hell yeah!
Yeah, that's the quiet place.
Fucking nailed it. Try one.
Nailed it.
Boom.
Boom. Okay, so like Bones seems very confident in where this location is, so you guys do not need a guide, which is good because that means that they can fan out and look in other locations just in case that's not where Izu actually is, right? So they they set people to the task, and Risk moves back over to Culp, who is clearly distressed and continues talking to him while you guys head out. Okay, so
We check in with Culp and see why he's distressed.
you have not. You were busy with this. You could if you want to.
Yeah, I'm gonna go over
If
and
you
check
would
in with
rather
Culp.
if you would rather touch base with Culp, then go look for Izu right now. You can do that.
I'll let you guys go find Izu. I'm gonna talk with Culp.
Okay.
All right, see you later.
Yeah. All right. Okay. Fine. Party splits. Some of the group going to look for Izu. Matashtai looking looking to converse with Culp to see that he is okay. Yeah. You guys want to come at the cave from the north or the south?
The north.
Yeah, north.
All right. You guys head towards the cave. In the meanwhile, or in the meantime, Matashtai, you head over and you overhear as you approach. Risk and Culp are conversing. Really, it's Risk kind of trying to soothe Culp, right? And roll me. Are you trying to overhear it all, or are you being like not invasive?
I would rather let them know I'm approaching.
Okay, so
And
you
ask
intentionally
what's up.
try to like not to overhear anything. Make your presence.
I kind of
known.
loud like, "Oh, I'm gonna go talk with Culp and Risk."
So there's a brief moment where they're like, Risk does not, from a social interaction, doesn't understand what you've just done, right? He just looks at you like strangely, right? Like, are you okay? Right? But Culp gets what you're doing, right? Like Culp has a better grasp of the language and mannerisms of many of the more civilized races, so to speak. And he kind of like gives you a nod, right? Like an appreciative nod. He roll me an insight check, actually.
Inciting upon him.
Okay, 17. He doesn't look ill, right? He looks, he's distressed, right? He looks as if he is very, very worried about someone else, and it is affecting him physically, right? He is old. This has been kind of like reiterated to you on multiple occasions, right? That like, you gotta be careful because he might be like looking to martyr himself for the tribe type scenario. But
Yeah.
so like he's old, but he's not a fragile individual. But whatever he is concerned about, it is affecting him enough to where it is physically making him kind of like shiver, right? And there's kind of like sweat on his brow. But
He's always making me do
regardless,
something.
right? Like you approach and they are both available for you. What happens? What's up?
I kind of walk up and I say, "Hey, Colt, looking kind of rough. Is everything all right?"
He looks at you and he says, I don't know. I don't think so. No. I'm not sure."
Wrong.
Scratches his head and he says, and Risk kind of nods to him, right? Like in a reassuring manner, right? Like Risk being the individual that has spent the most time with you all, right? He gives that kind of nod and like a gentle, hand on the shoulder to kind of like reaffirm that, come on, these guys they've already done a lot for us. They can be involved a little bit more.
Yeah.
And Culp says, ever since what I saw in the temple, I've felt uneasy. As if there was some sort of presence that I couldn't shake. And then, just in the last little while, a few hours or so, maybe a half a day or more, Zetlal has been acting erratically.
Everything all right with her egg?
It seems fine. At first, I thought it was just nerves.
You're not there.
Oh, right. Yeah, sorry.
Oh, you might have stayed behind. I don't know. I left.
I'll let you make that decision, Ashes. You could either have stayed behind with Matashtai or gone with Bones and Ezrah.
Shit. I don't know. Did you want to kind of do this solo, Mitch?
Either way.
Because if this is something you want to do on your own, I didn't want to
You're good.
Okay, yeah, I'll go with Matt.
Okay.
Sorry,
No, it's fine. You're fine. I immediately responded to you because I'm just used to you guys being all like grouped together.
Yeah.
But so Culp says she seems fine. I thought, or the egg is fine. I assumed that she's been through a traumatic experience and just getting her young back, right? And now, when I've been speaking to her lately, it's been, talking about the idea that we have another battle to fight, right? We will need her strength. And at first she seemed fine with it, but something is different she's... I don't know why, but she seems aggressive. She seems not like herself.
And it's been ever since the issue at the thing at the temple?
After I came back from that, I felt strange, and now she's acting strange.
I don't know Zetlaw that well. Could she just be picking up on your emotions?
Are you two somehow linked? Like magically?
No. We are just linked through time. I've known her for a very, very long time. I don't know if it's just my nervousness that has infected her, or a combination of all the stress, or what. I'm worried.
Okay.
I have to rethink our strategy if
You
we're
think maybe
minus
we
one
should keep
Hydra.
her? Think we should keep her out of the battle, just in case?
Is that even an option?
Sure it is. We'll be fine.
I'm not
Yeah.
sure. She's always been a shield and spear for the tribe. It would feel strange not to include her, but she doesn't seem to be herself at the moment.
All right. I don't know how well it would go if we tried to maybe talk this out with her, at least just us. I know Matt's probably the only one since he has telepathic capabilities, but would you be willing to like mediate a conversation with her?
Colt nods. She's not violent.
Yeah, well, she's
still
also a
Zetlaw.
Hydra. I don't want to. Let's just say I don't want to upset a Hydra.
Well, I mean, if we can't even have a conversation with her, I don't know how we're gonna have her aid in a battle. I don't know how she's gonna stay with us if we can't even have a conversation with her. And you, Matashtai, in that moment, right? Like no insight necessary. It's just this is like Bones with his unnaturally high perception. This is your unnaturally high insight, right? Kind of situation.
Yeah.
The way that Culp is talking, right? Like it clicks with you. He's concerned he's losing the friend of his lifetime.
Yeah.
Right? Like, he's concerned that, well, like, whatever is happening with Zetlaw seems to have him so worried that she is not the same, as if to, like, have lost that longtime friend.
So, intervention, right?
Yeah, I guess the only real option is to try and talk with her.
Hope nods and looks at you and says, kind of like gestures back towards her abode, as if to let it be done.
Lead on.
Okay. Matashtai and Ashes. I'm gonna pull Ashes back over there. Head off towards Zetlaw's abode with risk and hope. I mean, in the meantime, Ezra and Bones have made their way to the quiet place in search of Ezra.
Ezra and Bones on an adventure.
Okay, so as you guys kind of like, it's a simple trek out past the temple and around, down a long tunnel to the quiet place. This one. And
Look, it's Emily Blunt and John Krasinski. Notable actors from The Quiet Place.
a good show, honestly. Real good show.
I never saw it.
That's a very good movie.
Really enjoyed it. Oh, sorry, I'm thinking of a different thing. But that's also good.
Were you thinking of The Devil Wears Prada?
No, I was
What were you
thinking of
thinking
I was thinking of The Good Place. That's why I said show.
Neither of them are in that.
Yeah, I'm aware. That's why I said after the fact I was like, oh, I'm thinking of a different thing. Okay. Bones and Ezra.
On an adventure.
You make your way down this tunnel, and as you come into view, you can see just sitting in the middle of this cavern is Izu, right? And you immediately get that feeling again, the disconnect from the greater swamp as a whole, right? The insects that have been buzzing around you as you travel through stop following you. The smell instantly changes here, just to kind of like a neutral, almost kind of like dusty, cold location. And there is Ezra on your kind of like second time coming here. There's a slight feeling, almost kind of like a hollowness in your chest, right? Not a lack of magic, but a neutrality to it, right? Which is a little strange, especially here, especially after having been to the Immortal Vale, which is so pervasive with kind of like oozing primal magic, right? Kind of scenario. You see Izu is sitting in a kind of meditative trance, and she seems unaware of your approach.
What we do? We just wait? You want to wait? Do we just wait? We wake her up?
Sure. Go wake her up.
Which one we do?
Okay.
And I say I'm the non-committal one. I just sit down, then I wait.
Okay. Sit and wait.
She'll wake up eventually, probably.
As you both kind of like sit and wait, 30 seconds pass, a minute passes, 2, 3, 5 minutes pass. And Bones, you notice, as you kind of like approach that 5-minute mark or so, it's difficult to see. And honestly, it's only because you've had such a long time. There's not a lot of stuff to look at here. It's basically Ezra and Izu and blank cavern, right? So after about 5 minutes of just having nothing to look at, your unnaturally keen eyes pick up on the fact that Izu is almost imperceptibly shaking. Like her whole body is just kind of vibrating slightly.
Sick. I mean, I don't know what to do with that information. Hey, Ezra, why's she shaking?
What?
Why's she shaking? She shaking? Do you see that?
I mean, now that he points it out, you're kind of like, oh, you know, she's shaking consistently, like not stopping.
Maybe they do that when they sleep.
I don't know. Hold on. Is it cold here?
It's a little colder than the rest of the Slither Swamp. The Slither Swamp, it tends to be very muggy and humid, because it is not at it's that weather doesn't seem to reach here. It is a little colder, but it's not cold. It's definitely not the 7th level, right? It's not the Land of the Stone Men style scenario.
Yeah, that was cold. Yeah. She look like she having a seizure?
Both of you roll medicine checks for me.
I'm really good at those.
You're better than me.
16's pretty good. On any given day, perhaps, but not today. That being said, I think you both kind of like there's that moment where you're like, hold up, is she having a seizure?
Is that a magic thing?
I mean, she's almost frozen in place, right? Like she has not moved an inch since you got here. But she's basically frozen in that location and just vibrating.
Weird.
It could be a seizure, but if it is, it's the strangest seizure you've ever seen.
Feels like a magic thing.
This seems like not a normal magic thing. This seems like a warlock thing.
Could still be a magic thing, technically. Just because it's a warlock thing doesn't mean it's not a magic thing.
Let's just wait a little longer. I don't want to wake her up. You know, they say you're not supposed to wake up sleepwalkers.
Okay. You guys take no
Wait.
action. You wait. All right. Then I think. Oh well, nope. Never mind. Mitch just left. I was gonna say I think we go back to our conversation with the Hydra. But no, we will fast forward. Another 2.5 minutes or so go by, right? And the warlock still does not move, continues to shiver or shake, right? And again, Bones, you're the first one to kind of like notice it, but it's a snap second afterwards, right, that Ezra sees it, just because it is quite noticeable, right? But you see a trickle of blood streak down her jawline, right?
Oh, looks like it's going well. That a magic thing too?
No, blood is not a magic thing. That is a health thing.
Speaking as someone who uses blood as a magic thing,
Hey, Ashes uses blood as a magic thing.
You're using it as a component. Someone just starts bleeding out of their nose.
yeah,
Typically is not a
Maybe she's thinking real hard.
Maybe.
No, she's just having lewd thoughts.
It's like Sanji.
I am sexual. I go sit. I just go sit there, like right next to her.
Okay. You go sit right next to her. And you can see, right, like there's this streak of blood that has come out of the corner of her mouth and gone down her jawline and is now begin to kind of like drip down onto her lap, right? Kind of onto her arms, which are kind of like crossed in this little pose. And not very long after, maybe like 10-15 seconds after you sit down next to her, there's another trickle of blood that comes out of the front of her mouth and drips down her chin.
Damn. Well, I mean, if I don't think she's gonna die, I'm not gonna do anything. But please let me know if I think she's going to die.
Your character thinks what they want to think. That's not me to determine.
Maybe just like a little bit of blood's fine.
Okay.
I go back over to Ezra. I don't know, like 5 more minutes?
I mean, if she's communing with her person, I don't know.
Are you supposed to wake him up? I always heard
this
you're not supposed to wake him up.
This is not magic that I am a practitioner of. I flip a coin.
But they say you're not supposed to wake him up.
Warlocks?
And you have people sleepwalking. It's the same thing.
It's the same thing. I like that in Bones's headcanon, warlocks and sleepwalkers are the same thing.
I mean, what's going on here? It looks the same.
Fair enough.
What do you want to do? You want to wait? Or do you want to wake her up? Try to wake her up.
We talked loud enough that someone that's at least slightly aware would have heard us.
Yeah, oh yeah, absolutely. You guys haven't been like quiet about your conversations. You haven't been hidden in your presence.
Do that.
I mean, outside of how hidden Bones normally naturally is.
Make no sound when I move.
Yeah, I mean,
Very unnerving.
You might be getting answers.
Okay, I guess we just wait.
okay. Sounds like a plan. Where's Mitch?
He's still gone. Progress time for us again.
Maybe work called.
I'm right here.
Oh, he is here.
I was working on cable management under my desk.
All right, we shift focus over to a Hydra. All right. Culp and Risk lead you into Zetlal's pond, Yerk's former chambers, and I mean, you're not being secretive about it or anything like that. Zetlal like recognizes your presence immediately. The heads, some of the heads swing towards you. One of the heads is down below the water. The bulk of the body is below the water. You know that ever since having her egg returned to her, Zetlal basically has a nest at the bottom of this pool or this pond where that is where the egg is, right? Culp kind of comes in and he kind of nervously speaks to Zetlal in a very unintelligible tongue, right? to either of you. And then he kind of like turns and he says, "What do you want to do?"
Probably should first do introductions and say, "Hey, how you doing today?"
You're introducing, you're saying that to Zetlal like from a telepathic standpoint,
Well,
or are you saying that to him?
I'm gonna ask.
I mean,
Culp,
so yeah,
like,
Culp like says he says again like in a unintelligible, language. He's speaking to Zetlal and he gestures towards you and Ashes, right? Like, so.
Speak.
Well, I will try speaking to her and we'll see what happens.
I might not be super useful here. Sorry.
Can I mind link Ashes in through the power of what's your sword's name again? Shit.
Solara.
Zalara and Zalara and Valena. They mind link and I link Ashes in.
We try to connect. You start hearing.
I'd like to
dialogue
conference
sounds.
call in Ashes.
You can try.
All right, I'd like to attempt to conference call Ashes.
Okay. So
Dial a country code.
you reach out, right, to Ashes, and you feel Zalara's presence immediately there as well, and you now have a conference call with you, Valena, Zalara, and Ashes.
All right. Valena, Zalara, you think y'all might be able to keep this connection open while I talk to Zetlal?
Valena's just like, I don't know how this connection's open right now.
How do you unmute? How do you unmute?
Valena, maybe try and help her?
What do you mean what? Help? Zalar, you can hear us, right?
We'll keep it open.
There's-
And I try talking to Zetlal.
There's no like there's no response, and then like as soon as you're like, well, keep your Zalar's like, I'm fucking with you. I'm fucking with you. Yes, I'm here. I can hear you. God.
You just hear.
I try to keep the connection open and talk to Zetlal.
It drops immediately.
Well, it's worth a try.
Yeah, whatever.
Alright, I talked to
whatever. Like you're freely able to like pull Valena in with conversations with you, and it seems as if there is some sort of bond between Ashes and Zalara, to where if you're communicating with one, the other can pull that other in. So you seem to have like a unique four-way kind of conversation going with these individuals, but not one that you can potentially transfer with others, at least not at your current capabilities as far as you're aware, right? So you
I try to speak to Zetlal.
yeah, you
and I
speak
say,
to Zetlal.
Greetings, Zetlal. How are you doing?
One of the
Roll
heads,
initiative.
right, has already three of the heads have kind of been looking in your general direction, the general direction of you, Ashes, Culp, Risk, etc., etc. As you speak into the Hydra's mind, one head focuses in on you. And as soon as you say that, it kind of replies, and it says, "The one who speaks in minds." Roll an insight check.
Bro, it sounds like the goddamn Hydra's got whammied. I'm gonna tell you right now.
That
I mean-
sounds pretty evilly sounding.
He's
Okay.
using his damn evil person voice.
You have advantage?
Yes.
Because-
You said insight? Yes.
Absolutely.
It is from. Hold on, I gotta find
Oh
it.
no, I know. I was confirming, making sure.
Twin
Yeah,
minds
absolutely.
or some shit.
Yeah, your
That's your
Halaster
Halaster thing.
Psychic
You
glamour.
good? Say something to me. Did you need something? Oh shit! Thanks for them almond joys.
Glamorous, glamorous.
Baby cat just last.
That's awesome. Take Lippo out for a play date. No? Okay.
Oh, okay.
Matashtai.
Okay then.
That didn't sound like Zetlal when you last spoke to Zetlal.
All right. Cool. Well, shit. Sounds bad. So definitely possessed by one of the souls from the temple. How do I exercise a soul? So,
Ashley's just
how's the
looking
egg? Is it
around.
healthy? Is it doing well?
Continuous use of evil voice. My brood is well protected.
All right, so this is like super meta, but you should be like, yeah, all three of them, right?
Sorry, what'd you say?
She responds in the kind of like not Zetlaw voice and says that her brood is well protected.
Okay. No, did you hear about what happened over at the temple?
You kind of get a almost kind of like a bored response, right? Like you get necessarily imagery, but like you feel emotion right through your connection. And the Hydra responds by saying, "Is there a reason you're speaking to me?"
Yeah. You sound a little different lately. Just checking in.
Kind of demeanor is Matashtai putting off at this point, right? Like is he being accusatory? Is he playing coy?
Nope.
Is he?
I like to think he's like hands in his trouser pockets, kind of relaxed demeanor, just trying to talk to a friend who's seeming kind of weird.
Is that what Matashtai actually thinks, or is that a facade that he is putting on?
So I'll let you decide because I'll say where he's coming from. He doesn't think Zetlal is doing anything wrong. He thinks that something happened to Zetlal and he's trying to find out more information. So he's not trying to deceive anything, but like he's definitely not trying to let on that he's really worried.
Okay. Roll me a persuasion check.
Okay. Normal.
Also,
First
Ashes, roll me a
Not
perception
good.
check at advantage, because this has to do with smell.
Okay.
Ooh,
I do
smell
that, I
You
do that
did.
very well. Probably not well enough.
Okay. Two things. One, Ashes, you smell something on the air. Something that you have smelled recently before. But not here. And it's out of place here, but you can't place the thing that you're smelling. Okay? Matashtai, right? Like you're trying to be earnest. Zetlal kind of like the head tilts at you for a second. And the Hydra says, If you're concerned, I will not aid you against the scourges. Do not be. I will most definitely.
That was a fucking lie.
It's Hexacali reborn.
No, I think it's the big bad snake from the temple.
The anathema, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Flinging holy water. The power of Ao compels you.
No, I was just thinking about that. Like, how do I do an exorcism? Shit. I don't know what to do right now. Ashes, help.
Oh.
While Matashtai and Ashes are stumped in this strange moment, we flip
Good.
back over to
All right.
Ezra and Bones, as after having watched Izu for several minutes, trails of blood going down her mouth, down her jaw, the young warlock begins to actively seize and convulse, still held upright in a sitting position, but her whole body shaking and convulsing. You see her jaw clenching and unclenching, kind of like her teeth gnashing, and each time the jaw opens, you see just like blood foaming out.
That seems actively bad.
That doesn't seem good.
Do we do anything about it?
What?
I don't know. Shake her awake or something.
Go for it.
Oh, well, now I don't want to. Ezra's sarcasm has deterred me. I'm not real magically inclined, except when I feel like it.
Right. Of course.
When it benefits me to be a magic cat.
Obviously.
Those times where you can just flip the switch and be a magic cat.
Yeah. She seems fine, probably. She's convulsing and her face is all bloody.
Yeah.
Good. I mean, I got a potion. Should we splash a potion on her?
I don't think that's how potions work.
Is it not how potions work?
That's not how potions work.
I mean, typically you're supposed to consume a potion, but I mean, if you get some of it in her mouth, I mean, it might do something.
Assuming that, blood doesn't,
That's true. Yeah, who knows?
Okay, well, I don't have any other idea on what to do then, Ezra. Do you have a suggestion?
Nope.
Okay. I will wait one more time interval and then I will act.
On the heels of that decision, right? Almost as abruptly as the convulsing started, the convulsing stops. And the shivering stops. And Izu's eyes open.
She's not dead.
And she sees you both standing there, and she stands up.
Say, well, hey
and
there,
she kind of like
sleepyhead.
wipes her face off, wipes it onto her robes, and she just looks at both of you and says, "What are you doing here?"
I don't know, sitting mostly.
How incredibly
What?
enthralling. And
What are you doing here?
she moves to walk past you.
Okay, we came looking for you. Golly, you're just no nonsense today.
Do you like bar her passage?
I kind of like stand in front of her. I'm like, look, we came looking for you.
You found me.
Cool. So what was all that about?
I don't know what you're talking about.
Well, we've been watching you for the better part of half an hour or so. All the convulsing and the blood.
I wasn't convulsing.
Damn, lie again.
Was I convulsing?
Yes.
Oh, that's strange. I didn't realize that.
You bet as much fun to talk to as Ezra.
You see something
Okay.
flash in her eyes.
Damn, did she think that was funny?
She didn't show mirth.
Oh. What'd she show? Hatred?
Roll an insight check for me.
Alright.
I mean, you're both trained in insight, so if you both want to, by all means. Like, it's not like her eyes were just shown to Bones. (13, 16). She just seems annoyed by your presence.
Cool. I don't know why you're acting like this. We're just here trying to help.
Help what?
Help you? Help the tribe?
Great, fantastic. Did you need me for a reason?
Well, we were worried about you, and that's why we came.
Oh, well, you found me. I was convulsing and bleeding, right?
You figure out how to solve the problem?
Sounds strange. You say you were worried about me, but you say you sat there watching me convulse and bleed.
I wasn't gonna let you die.
Are you gonna get out of my way, or are you gonna keep me here?
I guess I'll get out of her way. But as she passes, I'm gonna be like, I wasn't against what you did.
Show's not over yet.
I can help you.
She keeps walking. Not
I
at
don't
a
have as many.
not at a speed you can't keep up with, by the way. But she keeps
I
walking.
don't have as many morals as Matt. Let me in.
Let you into what?
Be my friend.
Let me in on the plan. I want to help.
There is no plan right now.
Okay, well, what are you thinking?
I'm thinking you're relatively annoying.
Not wrong.
So are you.
Also accurate.
All right, well, I'll just walk with her. Hey, you want to get a meal?
You asking her out on a
You
date?
kind of like, you're walking, right? And she kind of like
You see
casually,
Risk in the corner.
she kind of like casually turns her head, and her tongue shoots out into a like swarm of midges that you're passing, and she just like tongue comes back in, and she chops for like 2 or 3 seconds, and then she says, "That was very pleasant. Go ahead."
What?
And she gestures towards the swarm.
I just take a ration out. It was.
You see, we are two very different people from very different places.
Well, yeah. So?
I'm going to be in this place for a while. You're not. We have different motivations.
Okay, sure. I just go. Yeah, go. Uh huh.
She's just kind of like, her eyes narrow at you, right? Like, expecting more of a confrontation than that. And then she kind of like,
what about it?
shrugs and keeps walking.
Like, you know, well, you don't have to be, first of all. But, you know, if you want to be here.
I do want to be here. This is where my home is now. This is where my family is.
Okay. So, you want a more permanent solution? Is that what that means?
She stops and she kind of turns and she says, yes, that has been the point of all of this. Permanent solutions for the safety and prosperity of my kin.
Yeah, I don't really like half measures either. I think they normally lead to more people dying.
What do you want from me?
Date.
I want to, you know, I just want to help.
Why?
Why not?
There has to be something. Idle curiosity, greed, interest in one particular agenda over the other. Creatures don't do things for no reason.
Well, you know, my kind, generally we live for experiences.
And you want the experience of helping me.
I get the feeling that you and me, you know, we're a little closer in ideology than you think.
You have no idea what I think. It's not your
Not
ideology
exactly.
that concerns me.
Okay, well, what concerns you?
Where will you be tomorrow?
I don't know, probably here.
Where will you be the next day?
Hard to say.
Where will you be a week from now? A month from now? Dead.
Yeah, I try not to. Yeah, probably dead, honestly. But yeah, I try not
What
to
you
plan
have
that
done
out.
here, and what others of the tribe see, right? They are growing to depend on you rather than try to figure things out for themselves. But you won't be here forever.
Okay. So I'll take your lead. How do you want to handle it?
I want to find a soul that I can trick into the jar.
You can't trick him. It has to be willing.
Why? The last batch wasn't.
I think that's a little different.
Then let's make it a little different.
How?
All I needed last time was a shard.
Okay, but you saw what happened though, right? Like, did you understood what actually went on?
Did you?
Well, a little. I'm pretty good at souls.
Well, a little. I'm pretty good at souls.
Okay. So, just for everyone's benefit, I think all the souls of the Vrail that were stuck there got sucked into the jar.
I do believe that was what happened. It's unfortunate I did not have the foresight to drop a shard in both jars at the same time, or even all three. Maybe they would have split up.
I don't know about that. Maybe. But the point is that those guys, like, you know, they wanted to kill the Scourges anyway. So you gotta have something similar, or it's not gonna work.
What about something that wants to kill everything?
That's an interesting idea. Who wants to kill everything? Ashes does?
Joke.
No, Jay does.
Yeah, out of here.
My patron does.
Okay.
Capture your patron and kill it? Or trap it?
I'm
Damn.
gonna put patron in a jar.
How
My
you gonna trick your
patron wants to kill everything, and my patron really wants the spawning stone. There's a gate on an island to the southwest of here. A gate that can be communed with. A gate that can lead to other realms. Powerful realms. Realms of gods. Realms
Okay.
that I might be able to steer.
Okay.
The things that come through that gate don't come through in their physical form. They come through as a dream, akin to a soul. My patron is not a good creature.
Okay. So, how do you think we would get your patron from there to the jar?
Take the jar there.
I don't think that's how it works.
Why not? What's special about it?
Special room? I don't know.
Take the jar, take the candle, burn the candle, summon my patron, bait him with the spawning stone, and trap his soul for all eternity. Win-win.
I have a feeling that the box and the whole place and all of that matters.
Sounds like you're not thinking outside the box.
What are you gonna do to lure him into the jar?
He wants the spawning stone.
Okay, so I'll just be honest with you. What I understand about this is that the soul that's in the jar has to actively grab on to the Scourge's soul, which means they have to be willing.
A creature as vengeful and spiteful as my patron, I think, would grab onto anything that came nearby. He wouldn't want to suffer in his own personal eternity alone.
I guess it could work. I don't see why it wouldn't.
You are the one who basically forced my ideas out of me with your incessant pandering.
That was my nickname in college, Incessant Panderer.
She just kind of like kind of stares at you blankly, just like, God damn it. Just like she's torn between like frustration over the situation and now she's spilled all of this to you, and she's just like, on one hand she's like, who the fuck else was I gonna tell, right? And on the other hand she's like, I have no idea if this is gonna amount to anything. So she just gives you this blank fucking look where she's just like, all right.
What do you think, Ezra? You think it'll work?
Probably not.
You think there's a downside to trying it?
Probably.
All right, sunny disposition as always. Do we have another option?
She kind of
Okay, so
sighs. Izu kind of sighs, and she says, there are several other options.
Okay, do we have another option that's not someone sacrificing themselves? I look at her pointedly.
I came up with the last one and this one.
I came up with the group bloodletting thing.
Oh, that worked so well.
It might have worked.
It didn't include a soul. How is it gonna work?
You don't need emotions.
I got your emotions. And she turns and keeps walking. Not like, fleeing from you or anything like that. Just continuing on. And on the trip. Like she's not like, fuck you, I'm done with this conversation. She's just like, I'm done standing in the middle of the fucking swamp.
I'm gonna get your patron into the jar.
I don't know. I don't have all the answers to this.
Hey, what happens if we break off a piece of the spawning stone?
What do you mean, what happens?
I mean, like, it collects souls, right? Like, what? Is there a soul, like, trapped in it that doesn't get to come back?
I hope not.
You don't know.
I deemed it worth the risk.
Hmm. That was a big gamble.
To my knowledge, my people are intact here. If some miscellaneous soul was still within the stone and got trapped, that is unfortunate. No less fortunate than the myriad souls that were pulled into it from the temple. This isn't exactly a pleasant world we live in.
Yeah, but we didn't really have a connection to them. What happens if we break it? You know there's a higher than average chance that it breaks, right?
She kind of like narrows her eyes and she says, what do you mean?
We tried your thing, but it breaks it. It's the candles broke, the boxes broke.
Breaks what? What do you mean?
It means there's nothing, we can't try anything else after that.
I don't know. I hadn't thought about the possibility of it not working if we just put it all back.
You know, there's a reason why they didn't move this stuff.
They're ineffectual idiots that were destroyed by their immortal enemies?
Maybe. Or maybe they just understood the magic better.
You know what? They did set up this ritual, so maybe they did understand it better. Oh, except the scenario of we've already done it in a different way than they did, so, you know, maybe it's just a crapshoot.
Possible. You know, I'm down to try it your way, but like you
What?
said, I'm not gonna be the one that's that has to live with the consequences. And
Well-
you know, like I told you, I'm kind of not a fan of half measures.
Alright. You want to go find a willing sacrifice?
I mean, not yet. I don't think I could sell that one to Matt.
Then I'll keep thinking of ideas, since this one seems to not be panning out.
Okay, well. Will you at least include me if you want to do something?
I will consider it. My god, you are all about inclusion.
I love to be included.
All of you.
All right,
You
well, that's all
ever
I can
do
ask
things
for.
on your own?
Not very often.
Always as a group.
We much prefer
Meta
group
pigeon
activities.
Matashtai over here. Always as a group.
Yeah, we much prefer group activities. Alright then, well, that's all I can ask.
You're a confounding individual.
I've been told that.
I'm not happy with this. I don't want this anymore. I might be being a little selfish in the scenarios. I do think this could work, but it might be risky. Sure. Just seemed like a two fish with one spear kind of option.
Fuck you, Jeremy.
You made that worth it, Jay.
Yeah, I just don't think it's fully fleshed out.
Kind of shrugs and she goes to leave.
Yeah, this is awkward, but we're going to the same place. So
No, she like she pauses and realizes y'all are like going to the spawning pool, and she's just like, nah, fuck this. I will go to a different location in the Black Tongue tribe territory. She just like is like, no, I bounce. I'm done. I'm gone.
good talk.
So, that was a relatively long conversation.
Yeah.
Meaning that in the meantime, Matashtai and Ashes have been standing in the prior abode of Yurk, the Lord of Fetid Obliteration, now singular home to Zetlal, Guardian of the Black Tongue tribe,
Not
and
as good a title.
her progeny. Matashtai believes that there's something
plan.
afoot.
Yep.
All
right.
But we're going to have to figure out what that plan is when we get back from break. We will be back in just a few minutes. Thanks everyone for watching. We'll see you.
Goodbye.
Hey everybody, thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the video, consider leaving a like, commenting, or subscribing. It really helps me out. If you'd like to see me live, head over to my Twitch at twitch.tv/thedistanthorizon.